Just bear with me while I check that my iPad is caught up and my volume is okay. Takes a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds. Seems like a couple of minutes, but I'm sure it's just a couple of seconds. There we are. So that's, we've caught up there. Check the volume. Yep, looks okay. Cool. Awesome. Sometimes with my headset, I put the little mouthpiece too close to my mouth and I get a bit of a a whistle comes through. It's a little bit close. So if that happens and it's annoying, just pop it in the chat there somewhere that I must have my mouthpiece too close. Okay, probably better than not being able to hear me at all. Let's plough on. We are going to get to some crafting this morning, so don't despair. But there are a couple of really important things or exciting things that I wanted to share with you before we got to the crafting part of the morning. The biggest, most exciting part, I think, is the introduction of Stampin' Up's online exclusives. Now, these go live to customers on the 1st of March, and there's going to be 3 new releases of online exclusives during the year from now on. There's one in March, one in July, and one in November. Now, what Stampin' Up are doing here are trying to get a little bit more flexible in the way they release products to customers. So the online exclusives won't be tied to any particular brochure or catalogue. They will just be released online. So hopefully you've got your Stampin' Up website pinned to your favourite, so you'll be able to see these new products when they come. The pre-order that they've given us as demonstrators has some lovely items there, which I'm just about to show you, but they aren't all that's on offer. There will be lots and lots of other things on offer at the same time as online exclusives. This is just a wee sample just to whet the appetite somewhat. So there will be a special part of the website come 1st of March for online exclusives, and there is a little fancy schmancy sort of code there, QR code, for getting to that part of the website. If you would like a copy of this brochure, please just yell out and I will pop it to you in the post. I'll print it off and pop it in the post to you, and you'll have that QR code there. Please note, though, that the QR code doesn't come live until the 1st of March, so don't go clicking it until then. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the whet your appetite products here. I did an express order because I was so excited, and orders to Tassie can take a wee while, so I did an express order to get these to you as quickly as possible. Well, I'm fibbing, to me as quickly as possible. So they've given, as a bit of a taster, they've given this new bundle. It's called Irresistible Blooms. I did sort of roll my eyes a wee bit and think, oh my goodness, more flowers. But that was only brief because they are quite pretty flowers, and I love the font of the sentiment. So I'm going to get some use of that. They are quite stylised, those blooms. It's not normal. But what really got me excited were the dies. I haven't opened them yet, so I'm hoping they live up to expectation. There's a couple here that really excite me that I'm going to get a lot of use of, and you'll probably get sick of seeing here. And it's this circle here. Oh, it's nice and big. I didn't sort of click how big it would be. This circle here, which cuts out a sort of a circle with sort of a big circle with a swirl and other circles inside it, which looks really interesting. And you'll see why I think that's mega interesting in a minute. And the same sort of setup, but here in a long sort of strip as well, with the circles within the strip. Looks a bit like, and when I've seen it cut out, it looks a bit like a waterfall with the glistening dots of water coming down a waterfall. Anyway, so and the reason that excites me is because also part of this bundle here are these glorious loose frosted dots. And what I'm visualising is that beautiful sort of waterfall or circle die cut out in some maybe white, maybe black. Have a bit of a play and see with these beautiful dots in those circles to give that real glistening sort of waterfall, colourful waterfall effect. So yeah, really looking forward to getting, these only sort of arrived yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to play. But yeah, so that's what I'm visualising with that beautiful die. And I'm sure the flowers are glorious as well, but they can stand in line with the rest of the flowers we have. That sounds a bit cynical, doesn't it? Anyway, and it's also with this bundle, or this suite, is a beautiful designer series paper, which has the flowers as well, has some really nice tone on tone, has this is the sort of effect of that waterfall we're looking at, so we've got some of that to play with. Some of these, I'm sure they probably fit the dies, Getting it all mixed up now. I'll try and keep it in order. This is really nice. I really like that. It looks like you've you've done that resist technique. That's what that looks like. So we might be able to use that there. Those of you who've been around Stamping Up for a while might recognise some returning colours, and that's something that Stamping Up want to do with this online exclusive release as well. They want to be able to re-release popular colours and designs from the past, which is really, really, really great. And they can't do that in the strict catalogue brochure sort of cycle. So that's the suite. We've also got this really cool stamp set, which I'm looking forward to getting use of. So it's actually an alphabet stamp set, which we haven't had for a wee while. It's got the numbers and the letters and some cute little sprigs as well. So I'm really looking forward to using this one. It's classic letters. And I think another exciting thing, I'm not going to say it's the most because I was just excited by the lot, is this set of 3 embossing folders. So we've seen 2 embossing folders in a set before, but this is actually 3, and they are the full size ones. So the sets we've seen before of 2 usually be the ones, have been the ones for the mini cut and emboss, probably not quite good for full cards. But this is actually a set of 3 full size embossing folders. There we have. The price on that is 53 Australian dollars. So 53, they're usually about 17. So it's about it's the individual price times 3 roughly, but there. So there's some nice embossing folders there. I'm particularly interested in this one. This might take over as my new favourite for adding that old world tattered look. We'll see. We'll give it a bit of a go. So that's called the basic 3D embossing folder. Rolled the boat out on that one. And this is the last thing I wanted to show you out of the exclusives. It's called Naturally Gilded Specialty Paper, which sort of gives it away a wee bit because it's gilded, obviously. Again, first time I've had it out of the packet. The front one sort of gives it away a bit, doesn't it? Isn't that beautiful? So there's 2 of those. They're one-sided, so you don't have to, decide which side you like best because there's only one side. So that's a silver embossed on that one. There's 2 of those. And I'm guessing the next one's rose gold. Yes, it is. So that's a rose gold. So yeah, really, really lovely. 6 of those, 1 in silver, 1 in normal gold, yellow gold, and 1 in rose gold. So that's also one of the online exclusives. As I said, that is on the brochure, so just as to whet your appetite, but there will be many more things, and I'm going to be just as excited as you on the 1st of March to see what else is on offer. So as I say, if you would like a copy of that, it's just a single piece of paper, I'll print you out one, and it does have the little QR code there for checking out what is going to be available on the 1st of March, and then 3 times a year thereafter. Okay, I'll pop that down on the floor, excuse me. Oh, crash. Went to the gym yesterday, got a little bit vigorous with my lunges and squats, and I'm paying for it today. Had one of those experiences where I had to lower myself down into my seat, particularly on the toilet, with my hands on either side of the walls because my legs were so sore. Not a vision I'm sure you guys necessarily need this time of the day. Okay, I just also wanted to show you this. I did a pre-recorded video of this one yesterday. So if you search back on my YouTube channel or my Facebook page, you'll find it. This is the Wreath of Blooms kit, which is very, very new. Costs $23 Australian. I'm not really into wreaths as such, as a thing to have around my home. So that's the circle you get to pop the wreath on. But I have this lovely picture of my mum and me, and I thought that the blooms from the wreath would make a really pretty sort of decoration of that frame. So I'm going to hang that up in the craft room with that. But you can see the little blooms from the kit are just so cute. And because I'm not a responsible adult when it comes to glue guns, I actually used our normal glue on that, just to save myself the burns that come along when I try to use a glue gun. So there we are. So that's the little frame there. If you're interested in, you can either do it as a piece of home decor or as it's meant as a wreath. Anyway, so search back on my Facebook page if you'd like to see that particular product as well. So that's also live at the moment. Okay, cool. That's about it, I think. I'm going to get on with some crafting now. Thank you for being patient and hanging around. I did see a question from Leslie. How big are the letter? I will tell you, Leslie, just bear with me. They're bigger than they show on the front. Obviously, that's, I think, about 60% size. If I open it up, you can see there, hopefully. I'll put it, no, I'll put it on my, no, I'll put it on something. Does that help? No, that doesn't help. I'll grab my ruler and I'll just tell you. Each individual letter is, and it looks pretty uniform, just under an inch high. So that's what, 2.5 centimeters they look like, each of the individual letters and numbers. Yeah, so good size, not too overbearing, but not too tiny weeny that you can't see them either. Cool. Okay, so let's get doing some crafting. You've been very patient, but I was really excited by all that. So I wanted to show you. So recently had a few days away in part of my state called Port Arthur. I don't know, Eagle Hawk Neck, which I don't know if anyone who travels knows that area. It's got a long convict history. That's where they put the worst of the worst convicts down there back in the sort of early 1800s. But anyway, it's not that anymore. It's a beautiful area and a lot of history, and they have a lavender farm down there, which is absolutely glorious. And they were selling, obviously, well, not obviously, but what they do is they take the flowers from the lavender, obviously, and make their products, their oils and things like that. But the stems of the lavender, they turn into this glorious handmade paper. And if I try and bring it a wee, it's lovely and thick, and it's got, you can see the sort of fibres of the stems actually in there. So of course Julianne walks into the gift shop at the and they've got little envelopes as well. Julianne walks into the gift shop at the lavender farm, goes straight to the paper and thinks, gosh, I can make some cards out of that. So I've got those there. I'm not going to turn it all into cards, obviously. I might actually use some of it for the manner it was intended and actually use it as writing paper, but I did definitely want to make a card or two out of it. And I did have one. I had a wee play here, and I've used a part of the paper with, this is the Wisteria Wishes stamp set, which if you turn it upside down, these little flowers are meant, well, will look a wee bit like lavender, and that's exactly what these stems are supposed to be used for. And that's basically what I did. I used the deckled rectangles to shape my card and my envelope. No ribbon, Deb. And stamped. Just really, really simple. It's quite small. It's probably more of a note card. So you could probably turn it into a note card or make using whatever paper you've got, make a set of notes and everything out of them as a gift or something like that. So I thought I would do that, but I actually thought I would make it a wee bit more, well, not complicated, but I'd step it up a wee bit from that one. So I made that card with half a sheet of the writing paper. Trouble is they've got the, well, not, yeah, obviously they've got their branding on the other half. So I'm not sure how I'm going to deal with that. But also because I wasn't going to be using the envelope, I have taken that apart. Just bear with me, there's somebody's come into my house. Hello? Come on in. That's all right. What are you guys up to? Okay. That's all right, don't worry. I'm live, but that's okay. Leaving me some stuff. Oh, thank you. Okay, but I'll talk to you soon. Apologies, that was my eldest and his partner came in to drop off some stuff, so I'm not really sure what they're dropping off. I'll have a look later. So I have ripped the envelope or taken the seams apart of the envelope, and I'll use that to make our card today. So as I say, I'm using the Wisteria Wishes stamp set, and the colours I'm using are, I'm going to use soft succulent for my stems and leaves, and a combination of fresh freesia and Highland heather for the flowers. And I thought I would layer it up a bit. It's not quite, you can pop it with the white. It's not quite white. It's slightly off white. It's closer to white than it is to vanilla though, so I'm going to use the white. Thought I would use, therefore separate it from the white with just a layer of Highland heather, and then you're sort of not going to see the fact that the whites are slightly different to each other so much. Just separate them out a wee bit. I don't know why I've got that piece. I'm going to make a card base. If I can step over everything, I can probably use that for a card base. Oh, forgive the crash bang. I got so excited about the things that arrived in the mail with my dear postman Dickie. He's a lovely man. He comes here quite often, so he knows everybody in the house by name, and does wonder with my husband at the volume of boxes I have delivered from Stampin' Up. So yes, he and Stephen have a little giggle now and then when they're here together. Okay, so I'm just going to start with a white card base. So that's my normal size card base, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Then I'm going to step it down with some very vanilla, with some Highland heather. I might make that 4 wide by 5 3/8. Just stepping it down 1/8 of an inch there. Here we are. And then I'll grab a piece of this envelope. So we've got, what can I use? I might have to just use the middle part. Just cut off these little, now it does, because it's handmade, it does cut rough like that. That's just not my printer. It is actually the card itself, which isn't too much of a problem, I don't think. And that's why I use the deckled rectangles in the original card, but I like it. So I'm going to make this one, that was 4, make it 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. Okay, so there is our little sheet. People often use their snips, their paper snips, to distress the edges of cardstock. I don't have to bother in this case. It's distressed all by itself. That's just the beautiful fibres in the card itself. There we go. So what's going to do is layer that up as such. There we are. Okay. I wonder whether I should maybe distress the, no, it's all right. I'll leave it at that. Okay, so let's get our colours going in our stamp set. Put that back over there. Oh. Another exciting thing we've had, and I'll just talk about it while I find my stamp set and block it up, is that they've introduced a whole batch of new Celebration rewards from February, and they are some things from the annual catalogue that you might have had your eye on, so you can get them for free. I'll show you what I got in this particular order, which is two things that I'd had my eyes on for a while and hadn't got around to buying. I got the Hive 3D embossing folder, so that was a freebie with a $90 buy, and I got the tag punch, the essential tag punch, free, and I think that was with a $90 order as well. So that's two. There's a dozen things or so that have been added. So if you're interested in having a look and you've got enough delicate designs paper, delicate flowers paper, or fragrant flowers paper, or carrot stamp sets to last you for a while, have a look and see. There's some new things to be received free as gifts. Okay, so I've got these are the leaves to my stems and leaves to my lavender. Here we are. And then it's really quite easy to complete them because the three lavenders are on the stamp together. Really sweet little stamp set, this one. Sort of came out and I used it a bit, and then it got sort of swallowed up in everything else, as tends to happen. So obviously if you're using a wisteria, you'd have them hanging down like that. I'm going to flip them over and use them as lavenders instead. Did you miss Dickie? Did he take it to the post office, Tammy? That's what he often does. I know my sister Kylie actually talks to him on her doorbell when she's not around. He's a lovely man. It's a wonder he delivers anything. He stops and chats along the way to just about everybody. Okay, so this is my fresh freesia, and I'm using it to do the three lavenders, just making sure I get them right. So this is the background. You can do it as a two-part stamp, so that's sort of a pale fresh freesia background. Now, if you love fresh freesia and pale papaya and all those in colours from the last year, keep in mind that they will end with the current catalogue. So at the end of April, the 21-23 in colours will end. So make sure you stock up on your paper and refills if you don't think you can live without them, which I love. The fresh freesia, it's one of my favourites. And I'm going to bring in my Highland Heather, which is also one of my favourites. And this is a little detail stamp from the stamp set, and I'm just going to give each of these little lavenders, let's bring it down a bit closer so I can get the right position, just a wee bit of detail. There we are. So you can see there it's got the beautiful fibres of the lavender paper and our little three lavenders there as well, which is really nice. So just plain there in the corner. Okay, so that's that. And a sentiment, I'm just going to use black. Sort of something just fairly general. If there was just a note or something in there, hang in there. I'm going to use to a friend who's all kinds of wonderful, because I have lots of those wonderful friends. Big news at home at the moment. My youngest is home from Launceston for the weekend, so he's come home to. We'll go out for dinner tonight. He's home for the weekend, which is nice. Go out to dinner tonight because his and my birthdays have been very recently. So now I didn't quite have room to pop this sentiment down there on the original card, so I'm wondering whether I get away with it now or whether I prefer it up there. Maybe there. A lot more possibilities on this piece because it's a bit bigger. Okay, so I might there. I might stay with what I know and I'll pop it up here. There we go. It's not my day to go live. Now I'm getting constant messages from my mum. Just bear with me, guys. Those of you who know my mum know that she's not well. So I've got to keep tabs on her as well. Just bear with me. I'm just going to tell her that I'm live and see that it's not urgent. Okay, there we are. So we may have to cut this off soon if Mum is having an emergency. But anyway, there we go. So that's the stamping, just simple stamping, nothing too complicated there. I'm going to layer it up with my Highland Heather. With some, now I didn't use glue on this because I wasn't sure how it was going to stand up to the glue. So I'm going to use double-sided tape again. Don't want to sort of have it go, you know, return to pulp like it where it started. You just never know with handmade paper. Probably would be okay, but I didn't want to risk it given that I only had one pack. So I'll do the same with this one. Actually, it's weird that Mum's awake at 10:30 on a weekend. She's usually sleeping. Okay, so I'm going to pop this on my Highland Heather. Here we are. And then onto my white. And you know, I think I'm actually out of fresh freezer ribbon because I used it in a class. But I think that would actually have be nice with some ribbon wrapped around it and tied there. But as I say, I'm out of the fresh freezer and I don't have anything that would really match. So we'll just leave it. We'll leave it plain. Deb reminded me when she said about ribbon. I could have used it on this stepped up version, but we won't. There we are. Pop that on there. Because we are stepping this one up, I might bring in some bling. These really beautiful opaque adhesive backed gems are from the current catalogue, and they do have a fresh freezer version, which is my absolute favourite, and I've been using a wee bit. So I might pop those on as well. But just where is the question? I still haven't got, there must be a rule, there must be an algorithm or something that I'm missing as to the best placement of gems, but I'm yet to work that out. So I think I'll be a very rich person if I ever worked out the rule. But anyway, so that'll do. There we are. So just a cute little note there with my beautiful homemade paper from the Tasman Peninsula and our Wisteria Wonder stamp set that's been turned into some lavender as well. So, and if you actually give it a smell, the paper itself does have a wee smell of the lavender as well, which is really nice. So yeah, thanks very much for watching me today, guys. That was a very simple card. I hope you appreciate how difficult that is for me. I don't do simple very often, but so we've got a little note version and a stepped up version of that pretty Wisteria Wonder stamp set. Okay, I think that's all I needed to show you today. Keep in mind that great new offers that we have coming up. But we also do have celebration that continues through to the end of this month. So there's a great joining offer and some other great offers as well. So please please check that out if you're interested. Any questions about anything you've seen today, please reach out. Happy to help at any stage, and I will catch you all again during the week. I'll go and check out what my mum wants.